disciple-making movements, and media to movements is kind of using new media, all these different things that are coming out available, strategies to help accelerate, spur on DMM, disciple-making movements. And so, but kind of give you a visual of what a chatbot is doing for DMM. It's kind of the difference between fishing with a pole versus fishing with a net. And so if you are on the ground trying to start and catalyze the disciple-making movement, you're looking for a person apiece. And you have a whole bunch of statistics out there about how many people you need to meet, etc., until you find that, like, the key, the true person of peace. And those statistics are still true, but what a chatbot and using media strategy, what we hope to do, we're trying it, experimenting with it. Can we narrow down, I guess, go fishing with bigger nets, cast wider nets, and bring in more fish to filter through and find that good fish, that person of peace, and then move it to groups and stuff. So that's kind of a visual there. Chatbot is trying to use a chatbot as like fishing with a net in terms of trying to catalyze DMM. So our project, our threefold purpose, the Knowing Jesus project, our three purposes, and our chief one, our overarching one, is to find what we call them Cornelius people who will start discovery groups with their family friends, like in Acts 10. And this is just a quote from Acts 10:24, where it says, Cornelius was expecting them, being Peter and those coming with Peter. And Cornelius had called his relatives and close friends together to hear what Peter and his companions had to say. So Cornelius is someone that God's already prepared, primed ahead of time. They're ready to gather a group. And so our secondary purpose, though, we know there's very few Corneliuses. They think there's a lot out there, but there are a lot. We don't know how many. There could be a number of them out there, but the hundreds or thousands more that aren't Cornelius, we hope to change the spiritual atmosphere with hundreds to thousands engaging with Scripture in a meaningful way, often for the very first time. And then we just kind of added this third purpose because we realized using this project is kind of a DMM training ground to multiply local fishers of men and women. And we've seen our online responder that we have part-time working for us doing this, because it's a lot of time. He's half-time working for us, but just his growth has accelerated in an understanding of what it takes to have these conversations with people, and like the Bible, Jesus, the Spirit is the teacher. I don't need to be the answer guy. I need to point people back to Scripture, and he's getting that as he talks to these people and how to. So we're realizing it's a training ground, not just for our online responder, but giving people, the coaches on the ground that we face-to-face meetings with, like true good key contacts that are already like filtered and ready, and then be able to coach them. So again, our final goal, finding hungry people who want to start groups with their family friends. We're not trying to argue, convince people. We're not trying to reach everybody. And we're not even really seeking individuals who won't share with others. Now, they'll be affected by our secondary purpose of engaging with Scripture, and it will in fact affect the general atmosphere. And you can build a bot to find just hungry people and to maybe disciple people one-on-one online, the secret, but that's not what we're about here in our project. And my colleague that I work with, he's more the visionary guy, but this is a quote from him. If the goal is to find people who will start groups and movements, our bot strategy should be to find sharers, not just people who are hungry. And so we've adapted our bot even since October to prioritize and try and emphasize sharing, and not just are they hungry and want to keep engaging and reading the Bible, which is good, but we want to prioritize people who are sharing. And so I won't spend a lot of time here. It's kind of how we categorize the different people that come into our Facebook page and into our bot. And when they first come in, they're a curious person. Everyone is curious if they engage with us for more than one message. And then by day 4, though, is kind of our key initial decision point of whether we think they're a seeker or sharer. And then Cornelius is kind of at the end. We only have one possible Cornelius so far, but haters kind of a manual category that if they are causing problems and want to argue with us, we put them in that category and try and ignore them. But the sharer is the key person that we're looking for, and then helping move seekers along, see if they go from being a seeker after engaging for a few days, like, oh, I think somebody in my network or my family, friends should know about this, and they think, oh yeah, I could tell my sister or brother, my cousin about this. So it's possible to move between those categories in our system, but and this is kind of a typical funnel of moving people from kind of this big open thing at the top to kind of the bottom of the funnel, coming off into offline meetings, face-to-face meetings, starting groups. And so we send out advertisements to targeting our area that we work in. And then we have a Facebook page that has some verse slides. We don't put a lot of effort into that, but it gives another place, kind of entry point. Because with the bot and with advertisements, you actually can advertise directly into the bot. So they go from an ad directly into a conversation with you, or you can do ads that send people to your Facebook page or even just like your page. And then we use boosted posts to kind of, in a way, advertise to our people who like our page and maybe get them into a conversation. But everything is driving people towards, hey, start a conversation with us in Messenger if you're interested in learning more. And so you see here, Betty. Betty is kind of our affectionate name for our bot. It's helpful when we talk about, and rather than just saying the bot, we say Betty. In other places you might see her referred to as Baravan. That's kind of another name that I'm using as well. So, but then people go into online conversations with our responder, and he's working at throughout the day. He gets on and checks, but a lot of people are on in the evening hours, and he's up to 1, 2 a.m. a lot of nights talking with people.
Wow.
And we're not really good at this part yet, and we're working on it, but the handoff of moving somebody from online to offline. And so we need to get more experience in that, but that's our goal. We want people to meet, and now just a month ago, we got 2 local partners who are on board ready to meet with people that we have ready, like find that want a meeting. We have 1 woman and 1 man ready to meet with people, and they have vision for this as well. And so we also just brought on another guy to kind of work in the top, help people have a good entry experience, because the bot isn't perfect. Sometimes it doesn't fire when people talk. And so we're kind of building a local team here. And it's a good training ground and a good experience here. So our bot, this is kind of, I won't read all of this, but I just want to put this up here. I got 2 slides of it. This is the journey that if someone goes through all of our bot content, it could take up to 30 days. Now, that's only like 5 minutes a day, really, but it's a mini Bible study each day with some follow-up questions. Maybe there's 2 or 3 kind of mini Bible studies in each one. So let me start on the top left. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We got ads. They come in, they send us a message directly from the ad or from the Facebook page. They come in and there's a welcome kind of intro set of verses and questions. And I'll give a little demo of that here in a slide or 2. And then we ask them, oh, do you want to get a verse from the Bible every day for 7 days? And kind of broke it down into kind of 7-day long series of verses, so series of studies and such. And so there you have the list here. Some things to point out though. One of the key things we've added since this fall is a feature that's part of the bot platform that we use, is user input. And so that's where we ask them a question kind of related to it's not necessarily related to the passage they read today or the previous day, but it's questions that if we were in person trying to find a person of peace, just kind of bring out, are you a true person of peace? So the first user input that anybody that gets to day 2 gets is, how would our country get better if people knew God's love? Because the first 2 days are about God's love. And so they have to type out an answer. they don't have to type out an answer. They can skip it. They can just say yes or whatnot. But these things we've realized, these user inputs are some of our highest value things, because you can tell a lot when people actually start typing out an answer versus just clicking yes or no. And you'll see an example of what I mean. It's easy to click buttons, and we have a lot of people that this is their first time with a bot. It's fun or weird, or like they haven't seen a conversation in Messenger that has buttons to click on. And so then day 4 is a key area, and I have a small demo that I'll show as well. Day 4, that's where we decide, our bot decides. It's not a hard decision because it can change, but it asks them even before day 4 starts, hey, what's the most important thing you've learned so far, and can you share that with someone? Who can you share that with? And if they answer those 2 things, we mark them as sharer. If not, we mark them as a seeker. They're still hungry, interested. We'll interact with them if we're not busy with sharers. But throughout our 21 days that you see here, we've got like 10 user inputs. There's like a user input question every other day. So we're really prioritizing that. It gives our online responder some key or some ways, springboards for conversation with people. And his ultimate question is, are they that's great. Well, that they're learning. What are they learning? Are they willing to, and do they want to, will they try to share this with someone else? And that's kind of what we're going for. We have a little bit of extra content. So I think that if someone goes day by day through our system without getting distracted or going offline or having a problem with the bot, it could take up to 25 days. And hopefully in that 25 days, we'll determine if they're a sharer or a seeker and be able to move them towards an online meeting. But we're still refining that process, because by the time they get to 25 days, we don't want to keep making content for them. We could, that could be a different bot strategy type thing. But yeah, that could be a different bot strategy for different things to keep people reading, keep people engaged. But ours is to determine if they're going to share or not. I'll move on. Okay, this is a demo. It's going to play a little video, so hopefully it should come through okay, but if you can't read it, I'm going to talk through the demo. So let's see if okay. So this is the entry into our bot. You get a welcome. Hey, welcome to knowing Jesus. Here's a verse from the Injil that we love. It's about love your enemies. And you see the bot pretending to type, and then you get asked, hey, do you like this verse? Click one of the options below. I like it a lot, just a little. No, I think I click just a little. Yeah, just a little. Okay, yeah, we found that Jesus' words, the more we read them, the more sweet they become. And would you like to read some more words of Jesus from the Injil? Yes or no? Yeah, I'd love to. And so this is, again, this is a demo of people entering what they see most of our people see. Oh, do you want to watch a short video or read a story? So I click read a story. And here's another verse from the Injil, from the book of Matthew. It's about coming to Jesus, finding rest. And then we ask a follow-up question. Now this is all in English. We have this isn't operating in English. It's in our local dialect of the language here. Again, what's your favorite thing about this passage? 3 options. I think I say lift burdens. You can make these options do different things, or you can make it go to the same spot, whatever you want to do after that. And so, oh, do you want another one? Oh, see, I clicked 2 buttons and it sent me the other message about if I said I don't know. Oh, do you like this? Do you want another one? Oh, would you like to receive one for 7 days? Yes. So now we're getting into the first day of kind of our each day content. And you can always, one of the things we realize, you need to keep giving people ways out or they'll start blocking you. And so here's the first day's verse. It's from about the greatest commandment. And so then you ask, well, what's the most important commandment? I choose the wrong answer. And just to give you an example of what it says, I think I choose work for God or give money. Let's see what I chose for my demo. Oh, I say give money. And, oh, thanks for your answer. You should go back and check it because we think that you missed something that Jesus said. But here it automatically continues though. but encouraging them to go back and check the passage. Oh, did you like this? Do you want more? And I think there's one more piece here before the end of this intro demo. It's another verse about love here from 1 Corinthians. And there's a long delay here, I think. So after that, it goes into FAQs. In the first day, they can finish with FAQs about, oh, who are you people? Why are you doing this? Are you a human or robot? So, but then I'll go, now day 4 is our key thing. So here, this is, most people aren't going to be browsing Google News, but that was my example here. So this is what happens when somebody gets their day's message. Oh, they're doing their thing on their phone. Here's the video starts. I'm browsing Google News, and oh, there it comes. That's what Messenger looks like when it interrupts you. And so now I hop into the day's message here. Are you ready for today's verse? Yes. This is day 4. Oh, before we start day 4, we have an important question. It's a picture of a waterfall. When you see a beautiful thing like this, what do you want to do? Take a selfie, tell others, not tell anyone? Kind of leading into sharing with people. Most of the time we want to tell people about the amazing things we see, and we think the same is true when we learn about God. Then we ask them what's the most important thing they've learned so far. Oh, what the most important thing I've learned is that Jesus lifts burdens. What you can't see on the other side of this is that we're going to get a notification when somebody answers this. Or actually the next question here. We'll get a notification that presents us, hey, this person just said that they've learned that Jesus lifts burdens and that they want to share that with, here, who's someone that you could share that with? I'm going to say my family and my cousins. And so we're going to get a notification, hey, so this person just was doing the sharing flow, and they said they want to share with their family and cousins. Make sure you talk to them about that. And so now we send them back to day 4 to get into their day's content. And I maybe won't go all the way through the day's content, so we can continue, make sure I don't get too long-winded here, but it's more of the same. But here's some stats from our initial kind of from our initial push, and this hasn't been like full out the last 10 months. We had a hard launch in May of last year, and we did about 2 months worth of kind of focused stuff. I think got into 1,500 subscribers, and then had little spurts as we refined our bot. I had some travel, the holidays and different things, and so this could be a higher number. We'll see what we push towards in 2019, but so far we've had 2,372 subscribers. Somebody in some way touched the bot. Current subscribers in our system are 651 with 573 dormant, 78 active currently. And so you'll see eventually everybody's going to go dormant. And so unless you have unlimited content, they're going to go dormant in your bot, which is okay for us. We can re-engage those dormant people with a broadcast, and I'll talk about that briefly later. So of that 2,300 some, we've had a little over 1,000 finish the intro content. So you see a large number don't even make it past really the loving enemies verse or the next verse. But 250, about 10%, have completed 7 days of these mini Bible studies. So that's, I mean, it's like 5 minutes a day, maybe if they do it all in one sitting. That's 250 people who almost, I'd say probably 95% of those people have never read the Injil before. And so that's like, and it could be higher, but 10% we're like, that's great. And so currently there's 194 seekers in our system and 69 sharers. And our online responder, we want to get better at this, is going back through the sharers, not just when they interact with us, but kind of go back, review their system. What can we do to help determine if this is a true sharer or not? So our online responder has made specific notes about the conversations he's had with 129 people, and that's since we started making those notes, because we didn't do it early on. He wouldn't have had time because we put when we initially launched, it was crazy. We didn't know how to scale, and we had lots of people getting mad at us and all this kind of stuff. So, but around 5% of people he's got a note about in our system, about a conversation that he had with them. And so then I say about 80 people have had significant spiritual conversations since December. So in the last 2 months, he's talked to 80 different people. And that's like 2.5 a day, or a little over 2 a day. I mean, if I had 10 good conversations in a year with somebody, like, that'd be great. And my language, the most I can get in a significant conversation is shemaing, having a shema statement. And then beyond that, I can't go much deeper. He's had significant spiritual conversations with at least 80 people since December. And then kind of our ultimate goal of finding Cornelius, we have one possible Cornelius that's led to a face-to-face meeting, and I have a little bit about him here. So Ray Juan is possible Cornelius success story. At this point, it doesn't matter about the bot because we found him, and now it's kind of like up to the in-person if he becomes somebody who's going to start a group that starts more groups. But we found him in less than the first 2 months after launch, but he was outside of our target area, so it took a while to connect the dots of finding somebody to meet with him. He's a natural sharer, sharing stories with his father, who downloaded our DBS apps that are another dialect, and he listens to them in the garden while he's gardening, apparently. We heard that little story, which is amazing. Sharing with his wife, neighbors, friends. He's met with a local apostolic partner twice so far, and both meetings have had multi-generations involved. At the second meeting, he did a DBS with them on Genesis 1 with 5 adult males who all engaged in the study. Like that's not quite, I don't know how many people were at Cornelius's house in Acts 10. It seems like there was more than 5, but in our context, that happening in a second meeting with them, everybody engaging, that's like sweet. That's the type of person you're looking for. And so actually the third face-to-face meeting is planned. Both families, or the local partner we're working with, his family is going to meet the possible Cornelius's guy's family. They're going to interact, hang out for a couple days, I guess. I don't know all what's planned. And so actually, I want to pause. Like, this might be weird for a webinar, but I just want you to pause for like 10, 15 seconds here. And we got however many people on this call now, 38. And just do a 10, 15 second prayer, you and God, asking that this would lead to group Bible study. So just take 10, 15 seconds and do that, praying that this would happen. Yeah, God, we pray over this face-to-face meeting coming up, and that it would be a great meeting, and that you would help our local partner just be able to listen and coach Ray Juan, and that this would lead to groups actually doing discovery Bible studies around your word, and that it would multiply. And so we know that's something you can do and want to use this for. So we just ask for his blessing on Ray Juan and his family, and protect them, guide them. Amen. Okay, so I'm about done. We got 2 more slides here. Challenges that we face, we're facing. It's easy when you got this cool technology and you've got the day in, day out, oh, we got to fix that, or oh, we got to make that better. That bots don't disciple people. This is a tool to get people, for us anyway, it's a tool to get people into conversations with our online responders so we can move them towards face-to-face meeting. So it's really about a tool to help him focus on the most important people. And we have another problem that we've recently realized is that the bot, we believe, is distracting subscribers from significant conversations. Because so they get to the end of the day, we say, oh, tomorrow we'll send you your verse. And then there's a smart delay in there. It says 22 hours later, we're going to send them the next day's verse. So, but they just answered an important question, a UI, user input question, and our online responder even has a conversation with them, but doesn't finish it. And he leaves like a question like, oh, hey, how did it go sharing with that person? Especially the people that have said, hey, I'm going to go do this. And he asks that, they don't see it or something. The bot comes in 22 hours later and says, hey, are you ready for today's verse? And all they see on their screen is that. And he just asked them the more important question that they didn't see, or they're not scrolling back up. And so we need to fix that. But that's a challenge. not letting the bot distract. Again, I mentioned this, discerning if people have actually shared with someone else. That's a challenge connected to that, is moving from online conversation to offline. And there's probably some cultural things there of maybe not trusting. And we've done some things to we're trying some things. Our online responder uses a pseudonym, but he uses it consistency. Like, hey, it's me, ready to interact with you. Like, that was a great answer, or whatever he says to different people. But we're also trying some things to move to offline. Haters, curious people distracting, that hasn't been a huge issue, but it can happen from time to time. But he's getting really good at not focusing on those people. We get technical user experience issues where people do weird stuff with a bot, and we haven't thought, hey, they're going to scroll back up 5 days ago and click a button that we weren't expecting them to click, and they get all misrouted in the bot and stuff like that. And also technical things. We had some weird, crazy technical stuff happen where, I won't go into it now, but those things happen. You got to fix it. We have our other local partner who's kind of at the top of the funnel, who's looking for people who had problems, the bot didn't respond, and getting them restarted. And then just cultural issues that probably affect those other things. And then what's next for us? I think pushing into some new ad campaigns to generate new conversations, bring new people into the bot. We can do some broadcasts to re-engage dormant people. Continue to work on this online to offline, and by God's grace, get some face-to-face meetings, even a couple in the next month or two. I know one area is if we believe that all DMMs have a prayer movement behind it, how are we going to integrate and catalyze prayer with this? And we got some cool ideas about how to even build up a network of people who want to get notifications from our bot that, oh, this person just did this, pray for them. Okay, and you build up a network, and we've got some ideas about that, and you can do that. There's some cool things. You can notify people whatever channel you want to notify them in, and we can make that happen. Another thing we did more locally is that we had a strategic prayer night about 3 weeks ago, and my partner and I co-led that prayer time, and it was about praying for people inside our bot system, and we actually sent out broadcasts to re-engage with people, and we're like, hey, we're going to pray for women right now in our system. And okay, right at the end of that prayer, we just broadcast to 100 women to ask them about this new series of Jesus interaction with women that we put on there. And then integrating with prayer. And that could even go to bigger scale things like there's some big prayer events that some of you know about, and integrating this, like real-time responding to people in prayer in the bot. So there's some really cool, exciting things that hope to see, not just us, but I think the broader bot, the M to DMM community. And then Betty International is kind of like our effort to help other people use what we've learned. So some of what the videos you saw me share, that's part of our full English demo of our bot. And there's got a few people on here on this call that have already started that demo. And then I just finished it, and we need to refine it, but there's a full English template of our bot for adaptation translation. So you can take the pieces and you need to adapt it, get it translated. But if you're serious about doing this and want to use what we've done and adapt it to your context, then we'd love to help you do that. And so I'll stop sharing my screen. That's all I've got to say for now.
Awesome, bro. And we're going to turn it over to you, AJ. AJ, go ahead, start sharing your screen. But so, Levi, quick question. Can we have access to your slide deck, or how do we get more information about Peruvian International? Just put that in the chat if you would, and then we'll make sure that that's in the executive summary for everybody to have access to. Let's go over to you, AJ. AJ, so we just heard from Levi in the Middle East, and now we're going to go over a few time zones to Asia. And AJ's brother who's been doing this. AJ, go ahead. You got just a couple slides.
Great, thanks. I love listening to Levi's story. I've been able to go through the demo, so I'd encourage you guys to do that if you get a chance, just to see. They've done some neat things. Our bot not near as complex and was never intended to be a long term. So we did a Christmas bot, the Christmas robot, using Facebook Messenger chatbot, filtering for spiritual seekers. And so essentially for us, I can get my slides to work here. There we go. So we started off with the 3 questions that this is one of the things that we focus in a lot in the Foundations to Media Strategy course. Just like, who are we targeting with this Christmas bot? Who are they? For us specifically, we ran this Christmas bot campaign looking for 2 different personas: 18 to 23-year-old university students, and then the second persona is 18 to 30-year-old factory workers. And so those were our focus personas with our bot. And then specifically, where are they looking? We zeroed in. We did Facebook advertising as well to drive people to the bot. And so we zeroed in on 8 different university locations in our city. We're in a city in Southeast Asia of 10 million people. So we've got a lot of different university areas. So we pinpointed 8 university areas and set our Facebook ads to those 8 areas, a mile radius from the address that we set up, and then 5 specific industrial zones. So Facebook and Facebook Messenger is the most prevalent. There's no sense of any competition of anybody else in social media within our city and in our area. So that was the easy answer to say, like, Facebook and Facebook Messenger is where we need to reach our people in terms of where they are online, and then just focusing our ads on their specific areas. And then what do we want them to do? So for us, we were specifically looking for finding people that would engage with us in spiritual conversation. So that was our ultimate goal, is people that would engage in spiritual conversation. And then from that, finding people that would read through the Christmas story and read or watch a gospel message to get that into their hearts, allow the Holy Spirit to begin working on and using that. So our Christmas bot, just by the numbers, just a few things. Bottom line for us, we ran this for 38 days. That's probably another number I'm going to throw up here in a minute. But filtering down everything, we had 47 people that we filtered through that had no previous Christian influence that we could discern from their Facebook profile. So we manually looked at everybody who responded to our bot or interacted with it. And so out of that, people who didn't already have some Christian influence from their Facebook profile, there were 47 who either said they wanted to speak to someone, a real person, and engage in dialogue, or that specifically said they want to learn more about Jesus. So that was kind of our bottom line number from this. We spent about $5 per each of those 47. So our budget for this, I think the total was about $242. There it is, $242 for the total spend. 177 of that was on Facebook ads. We ran ads for 18 days of the 38 days we had the bot up. We spent $50 on some stock images and $15 on Chat Fuel. So Chat Fuel is the platform that we built our bot in. Running the Chat Fuel, you can do it for free, but you're going to have the branding tag in there. So we just went for the next step level, which is $15 a month. So Chat Fuel service cost us that. So that was our total spend. Took us about 40 hours to prepare this. I wrote the bot, kind of the interaction and the questions. It was all about Christmas. So I wrote that up in English. A local friend, brother, translated it, which then I kind of rechecked, and then putting it into the Chat Fuel bot platform itself, then taking those blocks of text and interaction and tweaking the translation a little bit. But all total, we spent about 40 hours, including setting up our ads and everything. We ran it for 38 days. We had a total of 493 people that engaged in the bot. So back up to my bottom line number at the top, with about slightly less than 10% out of the people that engaged with the bot wanted to know more about Jesus, or wanted to have a conversation with somebody, wanted to talk more. So that was a key metric for us. And out of that 493, 192 people made a complete navigation through our bot. So our bot was not very lengthy. It was not a multiple day kind of thing, although some people did come back on subsequent days, but not quite the same as Levi's is set up with that longer program. So it's basically, what do you know about Christmas? Talks about, basic symbols of Christmas, Santa Claus, Christmas tree, nativity scene, which is your favorite. And then everything keyed in on the theme of Christmas is about the giving of a gift. And then that just segued into God giving the gift of his son, Jesus Christ, at Christmas. And then if they went all the way through the bot, they read the Luke 2 Christmas story. They watched the J-film clip of Jesus's birth integrated into the bot. And then ultimately they were given the options to go to our Facebook page. We have a branded Facebook page that's in local language, but it translates into Who is Jesus? And also a website that has other videos on it, Who is Jesus? So a lot of people then went from the bot then to either our Facebook page or those video sites. So we will do this again. This is the first time we'd ever done anything like this. I'm looking to the possibility of doing something similar to what Levi, that those guys are doing, but I will continue to use bots like this for short campaigns that are thematic or that really go to specific personas. Our city in Southeast Asia, there's a high awareness of Christmas, even though we're less than 2% evangelical here. And so Christmas is just an easy segue into the gospel for us. But we will look for other ways and specifically target some bots to various personas and do it in a short duration like this again in the future. I feel pretty confident in that. So it was a great experience. Chat Fuel was really easy to work with as well from my perspective. So
awesome, bro.
Thanks.
All right, awesome, both guys. So lots of questions. If you still have a question, I think we'll see how far we can get. I'm just going to take them as we got them. And again, if you're not familiar, I'm going to change my screen to gallery view. Where's gallery view? Okay, come back. There you are. Okay, most people have security issues or turned off your video. If you don't have security issues, you can turn on your video. But Levi can't. But anyway, first question, Levi, is does the online responder connect at each user input, or does Betty use the user input as a categorization? Over to you, Levi.
Yeah, so the user input, we don't have any AI, artificial intelligence behind this to understand a full user input. And so that's possible. Even with the platform we're using, there's people talking about putting in Dialogflow and Janus to more smartly respond to people. We're not looking at doing that yet, but so no, we have an online responder can try to, it's his goal to connect with everybody, each user input. And so we need to scale our people coming into it so that he can do that. And yeah, and so he gets a notification if they're a sharer. He gets a notification in his messenger, hey, so-and-so just did this, they're marked a sharer, this was their input, this was their answer to the question on this day, go check them. And so he's online for a couple hours each night answering people and talking to them.
All right. And this is from Brian. What tool are you using to run your bot? Can your existing bot setup be replicated and modified for use by others?
We're using ManyChat, which is kind of the competitor of ChatFuel. It's the two big ones out there. And I mentioned this at the end, but yes, we have a template, a ManyChat template. And so you have to use ManyChat if you want to use our bot, take it, modify it, but yes.
And so, Levi, what is the best way? I mean, because sensitivity. How do people get more information? Do they contact you directly, or how does your workflow work for people who are inquiring?
I mean, it's pretty new for us still. I mean, I guess they should go through you. If they don't know who I am offline, they should go through you, and you can connect them to us. So.
All right, that'd be great. And then what do they get from you? I mean, is it like, do you just give them access to something, or what is it that they get?
Well, this is pretty new. We just got so I would encourage them to go through the demo first, which is easy to start going through. And then we could have a conversation about that. But a template is like taking, if you're on ManyChat, and I don't know how ChatFuel works, but they have all these like people that are creating templates. So like, oh, I have a restaurant and I want a bot for it. And so, oh, here's a bot for a restaurant, and you can buy that or get it from somebody who's made a restaurant template. I made an English version of our bot, which is how the demo runs, and then I made a template from it. And so they get all the pieces and they're all connected and ready. And so you just have to go through and get it translated and adjust the content. I mean, it's not going to be easy because we have a lot of stuff and it's not a simple bot, but if you really want to do it and don't want to learn all the new stuff, that take what we've learned, we can help you.
All right. This is from Jeff. We've launched a bot using a similar model in our local dialect. We're just getting started, but have been having issues getting our Facebook ads approved to direct people to our bot because the payment method's not matching the Facebook accounts we're using to administer the page because of identity and security. Any issues or thoughts regarding security and getting ads approved?
I think somebody has talked a little bit about this later in the chat addressing
okay.
this.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not able to.
No, that's fine. I don't know if I can answer that better than what people have already.
Okay, I see what Kurt said. We
texted.
created a business manager account run from the US and we haven't had any issues. Okay. Yeah, and then, okay, AJ, you might not need to get this level of detail. Personally, my niece in the States lets me use her Facebook ad account. I send her money and the charges go to her credit card, but I use a pseudonym account to actually set up the ads, but I do it from her ad account. Okay, yeah, it's the idea of Digital Hero, and then AJ's put a thing in there, and I will, we'll put that in the notes about get to the Kingdom Training. Kingdom Training does some great stuff. We'll summarize here at the end of resources and next steps and so on. Yeah, so Mike's question cited, maybe you responded this, the site address, I guess you have to contact. We'll contact you directly.
Yep.
Before people adapt and use this or start something from scratch, what pieces would you recommend they have in place to make it a success? From Brian.
I mean, if you're starting from scratch, I mean, going through the Kingdom training stuff, I haven't personally done the whole thing myself, but I looked at it and that is really helpful to envision and like what are the things you need to go through. There's another group that's connected with, they're not connected with them. There's a M2DMM platform training, and they have more specific training and modules on like ads. And I think they're putting one together on bots. I'm not sure, but we can connect you with those people. But then I think one of the key pieces, at least the way we're doing it, is that you need an online responder for what we're doing. This isn't set up your bot and run it, and at least for what we're doing. I mean, you can maybe use a bot for other things that's going to do that, but we pay our guy. He's working 20, 30 hours a week at least to do this, and he's got the heart for it. But anyway, so that's a key piece. Like we couldn't do this without our online responder.
Good word. This is from Steven. Does your chatbot work on YouTube interacting over video content?
Our chatbot doesn't do that. It's designed to be a Facebook Messenger bot. There's bots that probably do that, but ours doesn't.
Okay, and I don't know if you covered this. This is from Steven about how much did it cost for advertising since May? Other than the chatbot platform, any other big costs involved?
I don't have a good, I saw AJ's slide on that. I don't have a good handle on the cost for advertising. My partner did most of that, and he has got the credit card and he does that stuff. Besides so the chatbot platform is pretty reasonable. ManyChat Pro account, which you need for what we're doing, is $10 a month per 500 subscribers, and then it goes up every 500 subscribers. It's pretty reasonable we're getting a lot of bang for our buck, we think. But the biggest cost, again, if you have an online responder that you're paying, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest cost, is the online responder.
Okay, and I saw somebody's asking for my email. Carissa, I'm going to throw you under the bus with me here. Carissa, can you put here's my email. Carissa, you can put your email in the chat so that we can be the kind of the workflow and filter for people who want to connect further with Levi. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's from Tim. I'm working together with a marketing agency who's interested in helping out folks like us. We may be able to act as a digital hero if the owner is up for it. Would love to know if this is a need. The company does all kind of online ads, so is well versed in all of that. Okay, thank you, Tim. That's great. Okay, and then Tim, like many of us, are going to be at MDC. He's going to have a booth there. See him. And then, okay, so I think, did I miss any questions? if you have any pressing questions, you can just unmute and ask. Otherwise, we're going to kind of wind up here. But we have maybe time for one more. I think I got all of them. Okay, so here, let's start to bring the plane in for the landing. So just some resources to summarize. Again, we'll put the summary at, and I'll send this out in an email, but visualstory.org/chatbots. We do have, again, the course that AJ helps teach with Tom, a part of our Mission Media University. Go to missionmediau.org. Not too late to get into that. That course is Foundations in New Media Strategy. It's basically a 5-week 3-hour-a-week thing where you basically learn how to even think about this kinds of outreach. How do you use new media to think about expanding your missional reach? Because there's some important philosophical presuppositions as well as, but you go beyond just the philosophy. You get into the not too detailed, but like you have the outline of a media campaign in your context. It's not chatbot specific, but I'd say it's kind of like a great prerequisite. Other resources. So Brian mentioned, if you go to Brian, just maybe put it in the chat again, because there's a new, he started a new Facebook group. I can't remember the name of it, Brian, and I can't sort through all of those notes. So either unmute and comment on that. Some of us are also a part of another closed Facebook group called what is it, AJ? It's M2DMM.
Right, M2DMM.
But I'm not an administrator, so I mean, there's a little bit of filtering needs to happen. Are you an admin on that, AJ? And what do you recommend about people getting into that group?
I'm not currently an admin on that. I think Brian and Tim both are, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
You can email. This is Brian. You can email me if you want to be added to either the chatbot group or the M2DMM group. We only ask that you respect security concerns that most of the people in the group have.
Yeah, which I think is true for most of us here. But in any event, so Brian, I'm sure your email's in there in that, but put it again at the bottom of the chat just because the chat's getting long. So any other, we'll just go with this, other resources. So Steve's got, I'm going to the EMDC, a lot of other people. So there's a full-on 4-day chatbot thing. Is that pre-EMDC or post-EMDC, Steve? And you're muted.
Yeah, that would be the post-EMDC track, yes.
Okay, so just say the dates when EMDC is. Just summarize. Give a 20-second blurb, Steve.
Well, that would be the 4th, the 8th through the 11th is April in Holland is EMDC, and then immediately starting on the 12th.
April.
Right. So 8 April. So then 12, 13, 14, 15 would be the 4 days of chatbot artificial intelligence, and that is Paul Konstansky leading that team from guys that teach this kind of stuff at universities, whatever. And Paul has put that together and then had something come up. But those are the dates.
All right, great. Any other quick resources? Anyway,
I'm Matt George.
Go, Matt.
Just with Jesus Film, and was excited to hear Jesus Film clip in one of those. And we're doing film production, so if anyone would like to talk or ways that we can partner or work with other people, love to hear about it.
All right, so I think we've covered our bases and got our info. So we're going to continue. If you can stay, I want to do a little more of this. We did a little meet and greet before they began, and so you heard from Matt. Danny, can you unmute? Give us 15 seconds. Like, what's your area of interest? Just comment. Danny from Seville. You have to unmute yourself.
I think as Sabile Media, Stephen's down there in the corner, so he can interrupt. But I think as Sabile reevaluates our mission, is that one thing that we want to do is to increase our impact not only in the production and distribution of media, but with scripture engagement. So doing a chat bot, we're interested in any kind of technology that might help us increase our impact, not just throwing stuff out there.
All right, I'm going to go to you, Andreas. Andreas, can you just unmute yourself and just give us 15 seconds? Just who you are, what's your area of interest here?
Good morning. Website manager at MLP, Multi-Language Publications for Wells. And this is the first that I've heard of chatbots being used in ministry. This is all very interesting stuff to me.
All right, glad you are here. And I'm going to go, I got Brian, Steve, Bob. Dora, are you there? Can you say hi, Dora? Just give us 10 seconds if you can unmute.
Oh, there I am. I think I'm unmuted. I'll
You're
even
good.
put my video on. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm Dory. I work with Power to Change, which is Crew in Canada, and I'm our digital partnership director. And we do a lot of online ministry. And so the thought of being able to engage in chatbots to move us further ahead and filtering through a lot of messages that we get was really exciting. And so I'm really glad to be part of the call today.
All right, glad you are here. It's great to see you again. Got Bruce, can you give us 10 seconds? I'm going really fast. Bruce Rathbun, if you're there, you can unmute.
Actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Pat. So I did the media strategy course with you a few months ago, and actually I heard about this webinar on the Facebook page, and so yeah, we are just finishing up a 4-week first.
We lost you. Bummer. Peter, can you unmute if you're there? Just give us a 10-second shout out.
Yeah, Peter, West Africa. Really fascinated about this stuff because it deals with heart-to-heart relationships with humans.
Is that Peter Hyam or is that another Peter? I'm just curious. If that's Peter, he's my MMU hero.
Hyam.
Yay, it's Peter. Hey, Peter. So meet, or maybe you already know him, but Tony. It's 2 a.m. for Tony. God bless him. Now it's 3 a.m. for Tony in Australia. Paul Konstanski. Anyway, give us a quick shout out, Paul. We are running out of time.
Paul Konstanski. Sorry, the camera's not on. Here we go. Not showing up the best. Working with Crew and a lot of the digital. We are working on a chatbot and a whole kind of interactive strategy. Part of the deal is we're going to do a combination of chatbot with data mining on the back end as well. Of being able to track some of the things that are happening and building that into our database that incorporates into everything else.
Nice, nice. Thank you. And Wayne, I'm assuming, is that Wayne Dr. Dye? If you're there, can you unmute?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm a missiologist and scripture engagement teacher, and these are really exciting new ideas, so I'm trying to keep up.
All right, awesome. Glad you're here. Oh gosh, I'm running out of time. Kurt, I don't think we got you at the beginning. Can you unmute if you're still there and just give us a shout out?
Sure. I work with Indo Partners. We're based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and we connected with WEC a little bit. We're doing work in Indonesia with Facebook Messenger. We're doing a lot of ads with that, but now we want to start using chatbots. So this was a great introduction and get us on the right path.
All right. And I'm going to officially end right here, but I'm going to stay on a